Now, switching to another sort of a quick look back, but this is more of a local interest look back, and that is Governor Ron DeSantis spoke at CPAC. And Pat, George, I see we're running out of time on the clock to get that clip to play. I think we're gonna run out of time. You want to start it and then maybe take it over to the other side of the break because it's a long one. I don't know if we want to do that or not. Can you get it ready? That Governor DeSantis woke virus clip. This is where he's talking about the woke virus. And he kind of concludes when he's talking about this woke virus that's infected our society. He sort of concludes with this concept that when you have a society that's veering away from the truth, anybody that stands up and speaks the truth will come under fire.
And the problem that we face as conservatives is a lot of major institutions in our country have become infected with this woke virus. You look at academia. Do we even need to discuss that? Their main objective now is to impose an ideological worldview on the people that come through their universities. You look at corporate America. They're mentioning it. They're opposing voter ID. Many of them make a lot of money from Chinese slave labor, but they don't want voter ID in the United States. So they are engaging in woke activism. You look at our bureaucracy and how totally...
Is that all there was, Pat?
It just stopped.
It just stopped. Look at that. Okay, well, modern tech. You see what happens when I don't bring my iPad, when I don't bring my computer system to run everything. It just doesn't all work.
Well, I'll tell you what. I noticed that it stopped right when he said they're making money off Chinese slave labor.
They pulled the plug all the way from Beijing. That's about how long it takes for the signal to get to Beijing and for them to react.
Yep.
Well, he went on to say some great stuff. You got to go out there and check some of what he had to say out. His entire speech was only about 20 minutes. We'd clipped it down to a little over 2 minutes of some of the best parts of it. But he went on to talk about this woke religion, and they're removing the statues of Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, and Teddy Roosevelt, and they're taking George Washington's name off of schools because they want to erase history. They want to delegitimize our founding institutions, and they want to replace that with their left-wing ideology as the foundational principles of our modern-day society. But as he says, more than just wanting to punish those who haven't kept up with the times on account of being dead, the woke want to rip apart the society that does exist now and replace it with some twisted, demented version of society that is utterly un-American. And he says wokeism is a form of cultural Marxism, which I think is a great point that doesn't get made often enough. This is actually a part of the strategy to undermine our entire system. This is not just being awake or being attuned to people's feelings or the issues, the way that they're viewed in today's context. This is part of a strategy to actually try to destroy the fabric of our society and our country. And that's exactly what Governor DeSantis is pointing out. And there's not a whole lot of people, if you look at it nationwide, that are stepping up to the plate and taking the heat from the media to say things like that, the important points like Governor DeSantis made, to take on the critical race theory programs in Florida's universities, which is what he's getting ready to do. There's a new program that's come out. It's federally funded. Gus Bilirakis has spoken out on this, where they're actually indoctrinating college students at FSU and FAMU with these social justice seminars that they're putting on, and they're spending millions of dollars doing this. They're putting on seminars every year, millions of dollars, indoctrinating these graduate-level students by essentially bringing in speakers and developing this group consensus through these programs. It's the same kind of thing that they do in some of their globalist-oriented programs where they bring a whole group of thought leaders in. I mean, what do you think the Council on Foreign Relations is? It's all about bringing thought leaders in and developing what appears to be an organic consensus through the process of a seminar presentation. Everybody just seems to come down with the same conclusions on the issues, and now that we're all in agreement, we can go back to our various countries and implement the solutions that we've all just agreed on. It's the same thing here. So they're taking that model, what they call the roundtable model, which they've used globally for decades, and they're moving that to college campuses now, and they bring everybody in. And who's going to raise their hand and say, you know what, I don't think we should get rid of George Washington? even though he owned slaves. I don't think we should do that because you'll be lambasted in the middle of the group by your peers, and you don't want to be embarrassed, and you don't want to be accused of not being culturally sensitive, so you'll basically keep your mouth shut. The consensus will be reached, and then after the consensus is reached, who can speak up? Nobody can speak up because we already had the meeting on this. And you agreed. We all sat there. We listened to the speakers, and you agreed with us at the meeting, and now you want to change your position for some political reason, or they'll accuse you of something else, maybe just because you're a garden variety racist. That's their favorite one, right? And they'll accuse you of something like that. Thank you for listening to the Morgan Streetman Show. We hope you enjoyed what you heard, and if you did, please click like and subscribe to help us out. And remember that we recommend that you exercise your brain at least once a week.